the State of SPJ. I don't have a formal speech, but I would like to touch on some of the things that has been taking place in the last 9 months since I've taken office. And these are in somewhat of an order of importance, but depending on your viewpoints, depending upon what value you place in these, they're up for debate. The first thing I want to talk about is the future of journalism. This is something that when I travel the country, I'm always asked, where are we headed? What's happening with the industry? And when I sat down last year, before I took office, and I met with Joe and Chris, and they said, what are some of the things that you want to touch on? And I said, SPJ needs to have its mind around where this industry, where this profession is going. And there was a future of journalism task force that was created by the previous president, and so we punched that up a little bit, and we did some work. In November of last year, I went to Yale University and attended a seminar on the future of journalism for 2 days. I've been to Washington, D.C. 4 different times for the Federal Communication Commission hearing, for the Federal Trade Commission hearings, to talk about the future of journalism. And I've listened to a lot. I have contributed some. I have my ideas. Sometimes, however, unfortunately, as I have told people, sometimes it's like sitting in an echo chamber, because the same people show up and sit on the same panels and say the same thing. And quite honestly, as I said at my speech last year at the convention, and I seriously mean this, and I continue to mean it, and I continue to push this, if we are talking about the future of this profession, if we're talking about the future of journalism, you damn well better have the largest journalism organization in this country participating and asking them. Because I, for one, have sort of worn on my nerves the fact that, and I'm in academics, but panels made up of academicians and .com presidents and newspaper publishers and Arianna Huffington and Rupert Murdoch. If I never hear them again, I'm okay with that. But no one in any of these panels, no one is speaking for the journalist in the newsroom. No one has done that. SPJ is the one who has to do that. Last month, almost a month ago to this day, SPJ submitted a 32-page report to the Federal Trade Commission. The Federal Communication Commission, on its opinions on the future of journalism, because they asked for public input. And some people in this room, Hagit, one, and there were some others. I think I'm trying to remember who, but anyway, there were about 11 people from SPJ, former presidents, current leaders, chairs, who put together like I said, a 32-page report on what we believe SPJ needs to say about the future of journalism in communities and with broadcast. And we submitted that to the Federal Communication Commission on May the 4th, or May the 7th. Those days run together. That should be up. We don't have it up on our website yet, but it'll be up so you can take a look at that. I'm finding out that perhaps there will be some more meetings. I will be in attendance if I can, and I will continue to push SPJ and push our viewpoints on where this future of our organization is going. And it is not to sell out print in the name of digital, and it's not to cut under the legs of digital for the sake of print. And it's, we are a broad-based organization, and I think that that's being lost on the people who are making the decisions. So we'll continue to do that, and I imagine that will be a project that will go on well past my administration. From ethics, I'm happy to point out that there's always a lot of lively debate in the ethics community, and we've spoken out on a number of different things. Some of you may remember that we talked about, thanks to Karen and her lovely press releases, we talked about NBC when it offered a plane trip for the Goldman family from South America back. We took ABC to task for offering $200,000 for an exclusive interview with the mother who, Casey Anthony, who allegedly I don't know if it's alleged anymore, who murdered her child. So we've had a lot of things to say. By the time the convention rolls around, the fourth book of ethics by the ethics committee hopefully will be printed, and I don't want to put Joe on the spot, but we're hoping that it's available by the convention, so you'll be able to see it. So the ethics committee has worked the last few years, and we're producing the latest installment on our book of ethics and case studies, which is widely successful and used often by professors on college campuses. So we're looking forward to that. FOI is obviously a big issue, and if any of you live in the lower 48, you may have had the opportunity to run into Dave Coulier, who has been traveling the United States on his Access Across America tour, and we're extremely proud of Dave. I got to catch his presentation when I was in San Francisco for the Region 11 conference back the 1st of May. It was actually his second presentation. So he is winding that up next week. We've gotten a lot of great reviews about it, as we expected, because Dave is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal in talking FOI. The thing that the takeaway from this, and Dave and I have had opportunities to talk, is and what he's learning is some of the things that I guess I understood, is that it's amazing that a lot of journalists don't understand FOIA law, that they don't know open records and open meeting laws. And years ago, back in the early 90s, when I was a Sunshine Chair in West Virginia, one of the things I was responsible for was traveling the state of West Virginia and helping educate journalists on open records and open meetings. And I was amazed that they don't give a lot of thought. And my analogy for that is, if you're a bus driver, would you not know the rules of the road? So you're a journalist, and your job is to get information. Would you not know what the laws are that pertain to you having access to information and access to meetings? You have to know media law in order to survive. So Dave has been doing that. We're really happy with that. SPJ has been beating up on the Food and Drug Administration from time to time, because the Obama administration has promised transparency on a number of occasions, and we're finding that the Food and Drug Administration just isn't transparent, and so we have been taking them to task and arguing with them. And I've been on conference calls trying to get them to open up. Their policy right now is that nobody in the Food and Drug Administration can be interviewed by a journalist unless there's a public information officer in the room. And so we're pushing back really hard on that. LDF requests, legal defense funds. We've had about 12 of those so far this year, and that money goes to help journalists who are fighting court cases. And we're very proud of that, and we're proud of our opportunities to defend journalists from one end of the country to the other. The SHIELD law. I could spend an hour and a half, like I did in Los Angeles, talking about the SHIELD law in front of sorority girls, but suffice to say that we have moved the SHIELD law farther into the political process than we have ever done in the 5 years that SPJ has been involved with the coalition to get a federal SHIELD law passed to protect reporters from having to reveal their sources to federal prosecutors. It passed out of the Senate Judiciary Committee back in March, and it has been sitting in certain senators' offices. Senator Feinstein and Senator Durbin are the two culprits at this point, and there is movement on it now, and it just has happened within the last 10 days. We are led to believe, optimistically, that there is now enough votes that this will go to a floor vote in the Senate, and that there are enough votes. They believe there's over 60 votes, and this will pass. It doesn't mean we're not going to get opposition from people like Senator Sessions in Alabama, and Senator Kyle in Arizona, and Senator Cornyn from Texas, but we think that we've trumped them. Our hope is that the SHIELD law will get to a vote, and it will be passed into law before the first part of August, when Congress goes into recess. That's our goal. I'll be happy to talk more about that or any of these subjects at length later. Membership. Membership has always been a big issue with me from the very beginning. I told Joe, we've taken a very large hit in regards to membership, and we're hovering around the 8,000 number, which I'm happy with. I'm not as happy as it would be if it was 8,500.